Hey there, and welcome back to another happy hour edition of the Stripe Show podcast. I'm definitely, it might be 11 o'clock, but we're definitely already sipping on some beveraginos. I'm Samantha Marks, your host, joined today by my co-host, Travis Fulton, the Stripe Show podcast head personality. Travis, we had to get on and talk about the Masters. I'm decked out in Masters gear.
I see that.
How are you? It's an exciting week.
I'm good. I'm watching it right now, actually, on my app. I have it right below. And Justin Rose makes another bogey, so he's -6 now. Bern Wiesberger is 4 under. What a day.
Wait, what was that?
That's Wiesberger, who
Got
I,
it.
of course, picked, last week on Cash Out as a wild card top 20. And he didn't even make the cut, but here he is now, second place, playing well here at the Masters. So we've got some international flavor up there. Rose, Wiesberger, Leishman, Matsuyama, Hatton. Come on, Americans. Let's pick it up here a little bit here at Augusta. Let me ask you about this hat here. This is that's some pretty sporty hat. I also saw some pretty cool stuff that you tweeted out the other day.
Let me tell you what, this hat, many people want it. And I will tell you that when I was at Augusta Monday and Tuesday of this week, it sold out. They ran out of them before noon on Monday. So I knew when I saw somebody with it, had to have it. It's got all of the patches on it, not year specific, just different patches. And a lot of the merchandise at the Masters only says Masters. Not much of it says Augusta National. So this hat says Augusta National 3 times. So had to have it. Definitely. Yeah, definitely maxed out the merchandise building, but we don't need to talk about that. But yeah, everything, it was so much fun up there. I went once in 2010, but I was, 15? So I don't really remember anything. It was fun to go with my boyfriend and my parents, both of their first times. So an amazing experience, beautiful weather, firm and fast. I was going to add that I became friends on Twitter with an agronomist at Augusta.
Oh, wow.
I met up with him on Tuesday, and it was funny. We were walking around. He was showing me, telling me some, cool inside stuff about Augusta, and he said, this is the firmest and fastest we've seen it in a long time. Like, I don't know if the greens are gonna make it all weekend if it doesn't rain. So just a testament to, everybody's talking about the greens and the color of the greens. They're aware. They're fully aware of what's happening. But they've obviously put a lot of work into it, but it was awesome to see in person.
Well, it's a quick turnaround too. I'm sure, I don't know, I'm not an agronomist, but the stress of the greens and, turning them around from November now to April, that's very quick, half the time they usually have. But yeah, I've never seen the greens look like this. You had Augusta, brown. They're smooth, obviously very fast, but they might be anticipating a little bit of rain, which they might get here this afternoon and then into Saturday. I got to ask you though, before we get too far into the tournament, was Connor just walking around like, oh my God, where am I right now? This is amazing. Was he just going crazy?
Yeah, it was such a shock and such a surprise that I somehow was able to pull off for him. And a few times we kind of just looked at each other and we were like, this is insane. Like we're actually here doing this right now together. My parents were there, like I said, so it was just a great kind of all-time experience. And then to come back and watch it on TV and be like, I was right there. I was sitting right there. So that was the cool part for sure. But it was incredible. And like you said, though, the greens, they look brown, but I'm telling you, they're pure and they're rolling great. So yeah, it's just an aesthetic thing. Obviously, we want Augusta to be green and perfect, but they're rolling nice.
Oh yeah, they're fast. And there's been there's breaking news right now happening at Augusta. Let me be the first here to throw it out there. Hold number 6, Justin Rose putted it up the hill, came right back to him. Just did it again. Now he's got about 7 feet for bogey here on 6, 4, 5, and 6. The pin placements on 4, 5, and 6 are brutal. Brutal. You don't see on tour a lot of the double tier kinds of putts and pitches, like every once in a while, right? But here at Augusta, you get it seems like a fair amount, especially in the front 9. These pins, 4, 5, and 6, you really get it like 3 times in a row where you're putting from one level up to the next level. And then if you go past that, then it goes back off the other side. Francisco Molinari just did that about 30 minutes ago. He pitched it back up over the other side. So yeah, it's playing tough, firm, and fast, but the fairways are pretty soft. You'll notice the ball's not rolling a lot. I think this is Augusta's way of saying, look, yeah, bring that distance here and we'll show you what's up, right? The ball's not going to run, and then you better manage your second shots into the green. So a lot of things changing right now with Rose here putting for bogey. And I'm glad you got to go, because when you go to Augusta, there's 2 things that always jump out to me. One is obviously the hills. That's well noted, up and down, very hilly. But the greens, you know, they do such a good job at the presentation of the course, right, on TV. And it looks very grand, like 18, but the green is not that big. Like you look at 18 and you stand there behind, you're looking down, you're like, that's 18? Like that's how big it is? You know, so it's just amazing what TV does to the size of the greens. And you really have to be there to appreciate just how damn good they are to get the ball into these corners of these greens.
Yeah, I completely agree. That's what I was about to say, is like most courses obviously are set up hard for the PGA Tour, but this, I feel like you at Augusta, you literally have a washcloth to land it on. And some of those pins are, you've got 5 feet on either side until you're on the next level. I mean, it's insane. And so and it's not like they can spin the ball very much when it lands. So it's like, it's kind of playing, just playing for what shot you have and trying to get up and down. Strokes gained approach, obviously very important here. And like you said, distance is not as important as it is to just get it in the middle of the green, which then you can still 3-putt. I don't know. I agree though. The greens were so small in comparison to what I was used to seeing on TV. And the hills. I mean, I walked out there for 2 days and I was like, yep, not leaving my couch for a week. Like my you're so tired. So I don't know how these guys do it.
Another bogey for Rose, and he's down to 5 under. So things are tightening up here at the Masters. It's gonna be interesting to see here as you look at the leaderboard. You know, Matsuyama had a good day. How does he hold up? We know his putting can be a little suspect. Terrell Hatton is definitely having his best go at the Masters. I think probably the most impressive to me was Will Zalatoris yesterday. I mean, first time seeing the course like this, kid goes out and shoots 70. I mean, he's just special. I mean, he is special what he's doing his rookie season, seeing these courses for the first time, top 20 machine. You know, is he going to hold up? Who knows? But just the fact that he goes out there yesterday and fires another 2 under, I mean, he's just he's a really special player, and he's going to win on the PGA Tour. What stood out to you yesterday? Any rounds that you felt like were, wow, that was obviously Rose, but anybody else jump out at you?
I was going to say the same about Zalatoris. We actually watched him on 16. We were watching some of the skipped balls over the water, and Zalatoris came through with his caddy, and it was refreshing to see one of the younger guys go at it with a little bit more of a feel take. Like I could tell that, you know, you watch the guys like Reed and Rose and all of them come through and they're writing stuff down. And yes, that's important. I'm sure Zalatoris does it too, but he was just out there rolling putts in every direction on the green and just kind of looking at him and feeling it. And I think that that's an advantage that the younger guys have, is that sense of freedom. And I think that that's kind of what I saw in the 5 minutes that I was watching him on 16 on Monday. But I really was impressed with Reed's round. I was impressed with Spieth, the way he came back yesterday. I mean, at the beginning of the day, I would have thought maybe nobody could catch Rose, but I mean, now it's looking like that gap is tightened.
Yeah, it has. It's the things are going to tighten up here. I mean, it's like, wow, he's got a 4-shot lead, you know. Is he going to hold? I mean, we have 3 more rounds to go. I mean, let's just pump the brakes a little bit. Justin Rose hasn't shown great form really much at all as of late. And, you know, for him to come in and fire that was, I think, a little bit out of the blue. So we have to take that all of it into consideration here. You know, he's not the kind of guy that I think is just going to run away and lap the field. And he's already come back here with a couple bogeys. Spieth got a good break, 13 or 15 rather. That ball was was moving. And if it doesn't hit the flag, it goes in the water. So it does. He makes eagle. So it just kind of makes you think that the Spieth train is still rolling. Obviously, he's continuing to play some good golf. I think Justin Thomas did a good job getting in at 1 over yesterday. That's that round with Thomas where he seems not to make anything. Could have easily bubbled up to 3 or 4 over. I think that 1 over was key for him yesterday. Look for him to shoot a good one maybe today, make the cut, and then here he comes on the weekend, which we've seen so many times. I still like my pick. John Rahm gave one away late, shot even, but he looked good. I think John Rahm, these kinds of conditions, let's see a 1 or 2 under today, get ourselves in position. I'm still going with my boy there, the Spaniard.
I like Rahm too. And I think, back to your point before, it's interesting how, Spieth gets that break on 15 and then you got Fleetwood making a hole-in-one. And I think it's just kind of talking about that one shot that keeps us coming back as golfers, right? Yeah. Tommy Fleetwood posted on Instagram last night his hole-in-one saying like his caption was something like, just when you're about to lose it because you can't hit any good shots, like then something happens and that's golf. So I think that's so true for us as amateurs. We stick around for that one great shot we remember, and it's just obviously very true for the pros too. And I think that that's something that can just keep them rolling and keep people in a good spirit and good momentum.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me ask you this as I scroll down the leaderboard. There's I'm going to go 3 names. The first 2, I was a little bit, I was surprised. Obviously, Bryson +4 was a little bit alarming. Even Louis at +4, I think was kind of caught me off guard. Kuchar, I'm giving you a few more names here, +5. He was all over the map, although he's 1 under here today. Cantlay, biggest surprise to me. He just struggled, +7. I mean, that's a huge number for Patrick Cantlay coming in, who's been playing good. And then Abraham Ancer gets the penalty late. Here he is now. 2-shot penalty, right? It was a 2-shot penalty. So he was +1. Now he's +3. And here we are, game of golf. After the fact, we see it on video, slow motion. This is after the fact. This is not during the course of the – after the fact, we see the head just barely – barely flick the top of the sand, right? There's no way he felt that. There's no way. This is not a Patrick Reed situation where he's hammering that was obvious. But just barely skims it, hits it. They come after him and says, look, here's the evidence. You touched the sand by a fraction and we got to penalize you. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I think it's horrible optics for the game. I just wish it would go away. This after the fact, just little tacky fouls because we saw it in really slow motion video. It doesn't have a place in the game for me. What do you say?
I agree with you. And I think that if we're going to do it, we need to do it to everyone on every shot. Like, I think there just to be some kind of uniformity. If we're going to zoom in on every single player's shot, so it's this big on the TV screen, then we need to do that for every single shot of every single guy. And there needs to be some kind of time limit, right? Like there needs to be, because back when in tournament play for me, when you tee off on the next hole, that's it. Like you can't then bring up things from the last hole. And I don't feel like that's fair. It's not fair to bring things up after the round and screw him over. And when I'm not saying that it's right or wrong that he touched the sand. I understand that's a violation. That's not my point. My point is that it needs to be a uniform. Whatever we're doing, we need to do it to everyone.
Yeah, I agree. You have to enforce it consistently. There has to be cameras on every shot. There has to be someone looking at every single shot. Do we really want to go down that path? No, I don't think we do. And something as insignificant as what Ancer was penalized for 2 shots, it just makes no sense. At some point, common sense to me has to come in here a little bit. Like what's the common sense here in the optics of it? And we know Augusta is all about the optics. We know they're all about that. One of the reasons why the fairways are soft and the greens are firm and fast, in my opinion, is, well, long hitter, no roll. they're going to be hitting 8 and 7 iron into it and not sand wedge because the roll ball is going to be rolling out so much. So it just really rubs me the wrong way that Ancer has to swallow that after the fact. And we've seen it in the past too on the PGA Tour where a guy gets, because the camera's on him more than the others, you know, that he's probably going to be enforced more by the rules than the person that's not in front of the camera. So anyway, that's that.
Little note about that specific thing you just said. When we played with Joel Damon back at the Winter Park 9 Skins game, this is a funny story. He told us he was out at Bay Hill, and I guess it was like an early practice round on Monday or Tuesday, and Joel has his shirt untucked, and like he was going to the range. He wasn't like in a play like that, but he just hadn't tucked his shirt in yet. And Bryson said something to him like, "Oh, you just gonna not tuck your shirt in?" Like jokingly as a friend. And Joel was like, "Yeah, like what I'm getting to it. What do you mean?" And Bryson's like, "They would have fined me like the second I walk out the door because the cameras are always on me." And so Joel and I were talking about how that's true for everything. It's not just for, the shots where 1 grain of sand moves. It's true for, watching Tiger Woods get out of his car. Like we're not watching Will Zalatoris get out of his car and walk to the tee. So it's very different depending on your state of the game, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Those things off the course, I understand, like Tigers, Bryson, Phil, DJ, they live a different life, right? In a different world. And there's things that are not fair because of their stature. I get that. It comes with the territory. But in the course of a round and filming a shot, and then after the fact coming into someone and saying, "Look, we're going to penalize you 2 strokes because this pebble of sand moved a 1/4 inch." It's just doesn't make any sense. It's bad optics. There's no common sense to that. So I don't know. I don't know where it takes us from that standpoint. But I do know, as you mentioned, Bryson, this golf course not exactly a par 67 for him. I think Bryson, as confident as he is, he might want to back it up just a little bit. He seems to be getting out over his skis a little too much.
He looked a little frustrated yesterday. I think there's a bit of embarrassment, kind of setting in for him for talking this much crap and not being able to back it up, because he has been able to back it up in the past. And I think that Augusta is just, showing its teeth to Bryson, and he's getting frustrated. But I do think it's funny. I saw several tweets yesterday saying, like, to Bryson standards, he's 10 over par. And it's just so funny the way that he talks in his press conference about the lines he's going to take and the shots he's going to hit. And then, he doesn't execute. So I don't know.
Yeah. He's not taking care of the par 5s. I mean, with his length, yesterday he played the par 5s even. And then today he just parred 2. So he's got 5 par 5s and he's played them even. And when you're hitting at 300, you have all this distance and you're flexing, that's where you got to take advantage. And he's not. So, he gets out over his skis a little too much. He's entertaining. He's fun. I love what he's doing. But I think he needs to back the train up just a little bit. It seems like, perhaps, obviously, there's got to be the play mode. I don't know what this driver thing, like, it was then I'm going to go to this inch-long driver, the extra length. And then now there's this new driver this week. And it's just like, God, let's get dialed in on your gamer here, right, at this point. And let's build some familiarity with the gamer. It just always seems like the driver's in flux, and it hurt him yesterday. So I don't know. The tinkering is fun. It's interesting. The seek for perfection. You're not going to criticize that too much, but I do think at times you're going to get in your own way probably when you do that. And this driver, it's like, put it to rest. Let's go. Get your gamer and quit tinkering. Let's play golf.
I was just about to use the word tinker before you did. And I think that can definitely be a positive and a negative thing. And I think that, there's people like Adam Scott, who's a tinkerer on the putting greens, right? With his putter all the time, changing putters, changing grips, changing whatever. And I think, if you get comfortable over something, why wouldn't you just stick with it? So I think it's interesting watching Bryson every single press conference coming out with saying he's trying something new. It's like, bro, just I had the same putter for 10 years. Like it's fine.
Well, you brought up consistency. I mean, you think about Sean Foley and Justin Rose. Rose leading the event, and those two were a great team. I mean, they were made for each other. Justin's kind of a technical player. Sean, I think, is a bit of a technical teacher, although I think he is a great coach too. But he can have the conversation. I guess let me rephrase that. Sean can have the conversation with a technical player, right? I think there's certain coaches that can have that intellect, that conversation with the player that wants to go that deep. And Sean can do that. But they split after COVID when Justin was down in the Bahamas and was like, yeah, I'm cool. I'm gonna do this on my own. Well, he wasn't cool. He struggled. And I told you, and I've said it many times in the podcast, I thought Justin kind of went down a weird path there a little bit with, he was on as many commercials as Fowler, for crying out loud. Switches equipment, no coach. It's like, wow, like what's going on here? Like this doesn't seem like Justin Rose. Now he's back to TaylorMade driver. Here he is with Foley now, like back to the basics, kind of like check your grip, check your posture, check, it's not always greener on the other side. Like, what are you trying to do here? And I think he's made some good decisions as of late, and he's obviously has found some form. But it is amazing how you kind of, these players, they seem to think they have to do something different, and when what they're doing is good enough. And I think what Justin was doing was good enough. What do you think?
I agree. And I think that brings up, something my mom always told me growing up is the grass isn't greener on the other side. It's green where you water it. And if he would have, watered that relationship with Foley and told Foley what he needed and how he needed, to change some things and do things differently. Like you said, Foley's a great instructor who, when you look at the difference in the players that he has, he's very good at catering to any single type of game, which is clear evidence just by the list of players that he works with. And I think it's the same for Bryson. Like it's not greener with a new driver. It's, the grass is greener with the driver that you perfect it with. I don't care if it's a 10-year-old Titleist driver. Like it's, you know what I mean? It's, yeah. You see people all the time, they have a 4-iron in their bag that they've had since high school. Like, cool. You don't need to go to the new cool hybrid if that's what works for you. So I agree with you. I think it's a matter of consistency and doing what works.
Yeah. It's fascinating really how the tour works, and the players need to protect their ego, and then the role of a caddy and a coach, a trainer, just how all of those things work. And then life, you put life on top of that. It's inevitable that change is going to happen. I think it's inevitable. It's human nature for tour players to seek and try and find, what is that over there? Maybe I should be doing that, or maybe I shouldn't be doing that. Right. And how just this ebb and flow, and timing, I think, is important. When you get into new types of partnerships and relationships, I think the McIlroy Cowan relationship's interesting. All of a sudden you think like Rory's just going to turn it on. No, it don't work that way. Like Rory's working himself out of this swing funk. You can still see it. He's a mess right now. He was a mess yesterday. So, it takes time to come out of that, but is the timing right? Or they work well together? I don't know. Seems to. Maybe they've known each other, but you really don't know. But I do know that the Foley Rose combo was a really good one. So I'm glad to see them back together because I think they're made for each other. And I think Rose will continue to move the needle forward with good play, even if he doesn't hold on and win the Masters. I think it just feels right with those two together. Let me ask you this. Back to Augusta, your trip. What did you went to you obviously got a lot of stuff there. You got shirts and hats and we did this big giveaway on Travis Fulton Golf, which is amazing. Go check it out. But you had $10. You went to the concession and all these cool little things in there, right? $1.50 sandwich, domestic beer. What are we spending the $10 on?
So my $10, very easy for me. We are going to go craft beer, which is called the Crow's Nest at Augusta. It's a wheat beer with a little bit of citrus hint. It's like a Blue Moon, but a little bit more citrusy. Very good. We're going to go one Crow's Nest at $5. We're going to go a Diet Coke in the other hand at $2. We're at $7. Then we're going to go egg salad sandwich at $1.50 and chips for $1.50, right at $10.
Okay. So the chips are $1.50. I thought they were $1. They bumped those.
They're $1.50. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. How about what's your $10?
Oh, well, let's see. I'm probably more domestic in the beer, so I'll go $4 domestic. I like to go one pimento and one egg. So that's $7. And then I do like the ice cream sandwich a lot. So that's $2. So I have $1 left, right? I don't know what I'm going to do with that. Nothing's $1.
Put it in your pocket.
I'll probably just keep. Well, can I give it to them? Do they take tips?
They do not.
They do not. Okay. Well, I'll just keep the $1. But the pimento sandwich is a must. Like that's a must, I think, on the Augusta grounds. Well, so which one did you go to? Did you go to the one back there by 11, like that little area back behind our 12T? Because that area is awesome behind 12T, 13. There's a cool little, concession area there. Is that where you guys congregated, or where else?
Yeah, we spent a lot of time on Amen Corner, mostly because it was awesome because no one was there. So there was a ton of open space. We could take a bunch of pictures with the camera. We went to the concession right there by the entrance, and then the one on Amen Corner, which the first sandwich I had was pimento cheese, and I switched to egg salad. But I will tell you, the barbecue sandwich was incredible. Okay. So those were the three. Yeah, those were the three that I rotated through. And then I heard the chicken sandwich was good too, but I didn't get to that.
Okay. Well, it's quite the experience. It really is. I can only imagine, going this year when there's hardly anybody there. What an experience. I mean, you have Augusta National as your playground, and you can just move around how you want. You guys are lucky that you made it up there this year.
Especially because there were no grandstands either. So it was super wide open. Just so many places. Like you could get within 5 feet of anyone you wanted. It was really awesome, and definitely the best year we could have been blessed with tickets. So definitely lucky.
Well, we've got a lot of golf ahead, and Justin Rose is figuring that out right now because he's now down to -4. He's made 3 bogeys in the first 6 holes. I'm sorry, first 7 holes. We have a tournament, ladies and gentlemen. The Masters is just getting started. This golf course is firm and fast. I'm hoping there's no rain. And as you see the leaderboard right now, like there's going to be a lot of movement. Spieth is going to be there, I think. I think Rahm is going to be there. I'd be surprised if Matsuyama hangs on. I'd be surprised if Wiesberger hangs on. I think the interesting name there for me is Harman. And because Harman's been playing such great golf, Brian Harman, he played phenomenal at the match play. I mean, phenomenal. And I was texting with his coach, Justin Parsons, and he said he's just dialed. I mean, he's just confident, dialed. Everything is full system go. Well, Georgia Bulldog, he just seems like he's going to kind of hang to me. What as you look at that leaderboard, give me that name or two that you think's gonna maybe put on that green jacket.
I think Thomas is going to go low today, and I think Spieth is going to go low today.
Well, he's off and running.
And I think they're both going to be. I think they're both going to be on that front page by the end of the day.
Would you rather play a round of golf with Patrick Cantlay or Hideki Matsuyama?
Oh, Hideki for sure. I feel like Hideki is low key really fun.
Yeah. I don't think he knows English.
Like, though. I feel like you could low key. That's okay. I feel like you could really shoot the shit with Hideki's translator.
Cut this one as the rip, will you? This is the rip. Have you seen Vernon's? Have you seen Vernon's updates? Chris Vernon, the one yesterday. I've got got a shirt. Yeah, it's really good. Go check it out. Masters update. Chris Vernon. Just phenomenal. I mean, phenomenal stuff. And well, my eyes are being drawn to the tournament here, so it's probably time to get off. it's probably time to watch the Masters, have a couple coldies. Samantha, great job all week. And man, we've got a busy week next week. Big lineup coming up next week. Gravy and the Sleaze, you might hear them on the radio PG Tour XM. They got their podcast. Really, really good guys. They're taking off. I'm going to interview them next week. So they're going to be sitting down and I'm going to interview them. So you're not going to want to miss that. We've got a big show with the matchup and cash out with the coaches. If I can get John Rahm to win this thing, then I'm going to get myself a nice little steak Sunday night, because that'll be a nice little payday.
Yeah, and don't forget, everyone, we've got giveaways running on Travis's page, on my page, on Sports Pub. Lots of chances for you to win some really cool master stuff. So don't miss that either. All
right. That's it. Tell Connor hi. Enjoy the weekend.
I will. See you.
And we'll be in
Happy
touch.
Masters weekend. Cheers.
Here's Cantlay right now. Second shot on the 5th. He doesn't like it. Man, he's struggling. See you.
Cheers. See you.